It's been a couple weeks. If you hadn't seen the prior video, you don't know, so I'll tell you. A couple weeks ago, I challenged a girlfriend of mine that lives in Minnesota to a paper pad challenge. I challenged her, she accepted, so I sent her a pad of paper, a 6x6 pad of paper through the mail. It's easier to get that through the mail. I sent her a pad of paper through the mail with the challenge of making cards. Now the deal was she could only use her normal cardstock that comes with envelopes, normal cardstock, basic envelopes, 10 pieces of cardstock colored paper or patterned paper, and this paper pad. This paper pad was chosen by two ladies. I do not know who they are. I just basically attacked them at Tuesday mornings and asked them to choose. And I'll put their picture up in the corner, and you can see them. They were adorable and funny, and they went along with me. And anybody that goes along with me, hey, you're adorable. Because someday I'll own a dinosaur costume. Don't ask. Let's just keep moving. So I'm going to show you my cards. I'm a little nervous to show you my cards because Kimberly is actually a professional card maker. She actually makes cards for a living and sells them. So, and I know she has an online store, and I'm hoping that when she does her video, which I know she's doing, I think tomorrow, I'm hoping she talks about her her location where you can order cards from her. But this is the paper pad that we were given. This is not my style of paper, not by far. So it was literally a challenge for me because I had to try and figure out what am I going to do with some of these little things. So I'm going to switch you over and we're going to start walking through the cards as we go. Now, before we go, let me tell you a few things. I made 42 cards. 42. The paper pad was $2.99. I used basic supplies, basic glue, basic cutter, and 8 pieces of cardstock. That's all. I only used 8. Our goal was our challenge was we could use 10. It's 10. Jazz hands, right? Okay. Let's just bypass that. And each cardstock cost me 7 cents. So that's 56 cents worth of cardstock. So 42 cards and envelopes, which are 10 cents per set, card and envelope. So that's $4.20. And glue, roughly about $1. I did use a little bit of foam tape to raise up a few things, but I mean, we're talking about this much. So total is $8.75 per card, per this whole thing, which comes out to 0.208 for the analytical person and 21 cents a card for me. Let's get to the actual good stuff. I'm going to run through the cards fairly quickly, and then you can go to the website if you want to see an actual picture of all the cards. But I started out just using the actual cardstock with the cute little sentiments that came with it. Every single inside of each card has a strip of paper or something cute that came off of the paper pad. So you've got that one, and then You Make My Heart Sing. So I wanted to have this pack of paper, since it was kind of fun and happy, I wanted it to have cute sayings or inspirational sayings or helpful sayings. I went to the Cricut and I wrote a couple sentiments that came off of the Cricut because that was all. 3 sentiments was basically all that came from this paper pad. So then I went and wrote on the Cricut, just basically blank, and to match, like, live life in full bloom with the flowers. And then I don't really like the way this came out. I probably would have colored it in. But where flowers bloom, so does hope. So those. Then I actually turned on Google And I wanted to see if Google could give me any fun sayings, inspirational type sayings. And I got this one from Google. A friend is someone who knows the song in your heart. And that's got the little musical notes with some horses. I have a lot of friends that love horses. We live in the country, and this has the musical notes going down the side. However, I just wanted some basic thank you notes. So I added some basic, the Cricut. I went to the Cricut and had it write thank you. And then I found a little rubber stamp that was down in my studio, and I put it together and stamped thank you, kind of just basic, because this looks, it, trust me, I was just going off a whim. I am not the professional here. But I always want to have cards on hand that I can send to somebody that say, hey, I'm thinking of you. It's not, it'll get better, or, don't jump off the cliff type stuff. Because life is beautiful. So thinking of you, I did a couple of those. Just ones that I could literally grab from the shelf when I hear of a friend or I get off the phone with a friend that's having a hard time. Now, this one is kind of interesting. This one is going to go to a very special friend because I did it upside down. I have a lady friend that lives up the hill from me, and I took all of my oops cards to her once, and she was a hoot because she came up with the most interesting people that she would send these cards to and the notes that she would write in them. And she really got me thinking of cards in a totally different way. So then I have just some plain note cards. They're blank inside, just because we always have a friend that needs information, and why not send it on something pretty? So these are all blank inside. I could stamp something up there if I wanted to. I could stamp something inside. I could also put this card in my Cricut and have it write something on there. And then this one, I'm not a good fussy cutter. I got a confession to make. Left-handed people are not good fussy cutters. There's something about the way our hands are when we're cutting. I've always watched people that fussy cut, and they seem to be able to control the scissors and see what they're cutting. And when you're left-handed and you've got the scissors and you're trying to look at what you're cutting, it just doesn't work. All you see are the blades of the scissors. So anyways, I fussy cutted a few, and then I put the rest of this strip down and raised up a couple of them, and that was it. I was done. And then I sent this piece of paper through the Cricut, and I had it write, cards are like hugs from friends, because they really are. If you have a friend and you're going through something, I really realize that if you have ever been through anything where you go to your mailbox and you see an actual card in the mail, that is like gold. That's like a lifeline string when you're going through something tough. And we need to be doing that. We need to be holding on to our friends. So rain or shine, we're friends. Now, I took the piece of paper that's back here and I cut this from the Cricut and had the Cricut write everything on it. And then I just glued it to the front. So that is that. And then I just did a whole bunch of cards that have sayings on them. It gets better, trust me. Okay, I'm going out on a limb here because it might not get better, but I think it will get better. And I'm going to be optimistic. It will get better. So this one is actually for our eldest. It's a saying that I always say to her, love you to the moon and back and 17 times over. That's just between us. And then God loves you. That's enough. It is enough. God loves you is enough. Sometimes we don't have enough sayings just about God. That's me. That's me. So I have a very hard time finding cards that have those. So like a sweet note tucked safe in a jar, I hold your friendship safe in my heart. So I like that. And I put another jar inside. See, I'm fussy cutting again. Fussy cutting. Or here's this one. Jesus, he loves you. He knows you. And he still loves you. He loves me. I know that. And he knows me. So focus on what God thinks of you. Sometimes in today's world, we're always getting it's only what you think of yourself that matters. And in my world, I think it's what God thinks of me that matters. So focus on what God thinks of you. you can send that to somebody when you have a friend that's really going through something rough. Sometimes you just need a cup of coffee and a letter from a friend. And sometimes that's all you need. Or just basically, I believe in you. Now again, all of these were sent through written with my Cricut on the actual paper. You'll be okay. So that's just a square of the paper. I actually had a lot of fun trying to match up the squares of paper on the Cricut mat and get the writing exactly where I wanted. And I got pretty good at it. So trust in him. I like the color of this card. Oh, I'm so sorry. I must have given you a headache there. I really do love the color of that paper. Notes between friends are like hugs from far away. And friends live in the heart. We had a lot of these envelope things, just one whole 6x6 sheet. And then there's always room for more friends. And then this one was fun because it was just a little blank piece of paper and it says, hello, my name is, and I sent it through the Cricut and had it write friend there. And it's almost exactly where I wanted it, probably 1/8 of an inch off. But hey, we're going with it. And you are loved. It says, you'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Have you ever looked up the words to that song? You know, you'll never know, dear, how much I love you. It's morbid. I will not sing it again. I used to sing it to my daughter. I can't believe I did that. It was pretty sad. So anyways, stars can't shine without darkness. That's another one. This is a constellation type little back paper, and I used part of it. And then I put this one on, Dream Big. Again, I'm about 1/8 of an inch off. It was kind of hard to put it exactly where you wanted it. And then the last set of cards that I did, I fussy cutted out the rest of these jars. It was a whole 6x6 sheet of these jars. Real friends are like canned goods. You can go years without talking, but as soon as you open the jar, there's no stopping the goodness. See? See? And then you just got to watch this. So on the top of the, I threw that. Oh, hold on. On the top of this was a sheet of a little thin strip of paper. And it was just a thin little strip of paper. And this is what it was. So there was one of these strips with a hole in it on the top of each sheet of paper. And I cut that out and I weaved it, hiding the holes. Because you see there's a hole here. See that hole right there? I hid the holes behind the paper. And then I glued it to a back of a sheet of paper. So this one's glued to green. And then I cut out a jar from the Cricut and had it write the saying, real friends are like canned goods. Fussy cut the other jars out there. I glued this whole thing down on the base sheet and then sent it through the Cricut and wrote my saying on the Cricut. Now I did that. I color matched them. So I did that with 3 different cards. Have that saying. Now, I had 8 pieces of cardstock. Remember, the goal was, or the challenge was, 8 pieces of cardstock and your envelopes and cards. And that's all you could use, plus your glue. You couldn't use any embellishments or anything like that. So I used 2 sheets of green, 1 sheet of the orange, 1 sheet of the pink, and a blue, and another blue, and a pink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I must have used, oh no, wait, a brown. I knew I used it. So these are the colors of cardstock. These 2 were 8x12. So those were 8x12s, and these were all 8x11s. So 42 cards, And what I have left over, I didn't even use all of the cardstock. I could have made another card if I wanted to. I have all of this that I will put in my reserves later. And let's move all of that. I have all of this. So the goal is we had to keep all of our scraps, every single little scrap. And this is all of my scraps. This is here because I made a boo-boo and it wasn't completely dry so it smeared. So I had to recut. I would have had more left over. And that's my little 3D tape and everything. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is it. I have 42 cards with envelopes, one 6x6 paper pad, a couple little handful of scraps, and a little bit of sheets of paper left over. Other than that, card challenge done. Kimberly, I can hardly wait to see what you've done. You are the master and I am just the player. So we'll talk to you later. And you guys, thanks for watching and following along with us while we do our challenge. And I actually challenge you guys to find a friend out there, send a paper pad to, and see what you guys both come up with. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Hi, my name's Kimberly Nolan. 12 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and in order to divert my attention from the medical activities that were happening in my life, I started to make cards. That has since developed into a small business that I have named Wings of Hope Craft, and I sell cards and crafts in on the web and in the community. My cards can be found at facebook.com Wings of Hope Crafts. Tabitha Betancourt is my friend, a best friend that I've had for years and years. And we live so far apart. I live in Minnesota and she lives on the West Coast. And we don't get to craft together like we used to. And a couple weeks ago, I got a video from her challenging me to a card creation challenge. She sent me a card pack that has 36 pages in it, and to, and said, asked if I would accept the challenge, and I accepted. The rules of the challenge were that we could use the 36 pages in the booklet and up to 10 pages or 10 12 by 12s of cardstock to accent our cards. And we could use pre-made cards and envelopes of our size. I chose the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 as an easy, nice size to make cards with. When I was through, I had this for scraps. One baggie full of scraps that you pretty much can't even get a paper punch out of because I've pretty much paper punched them all out. One set of papers that are small pieces that are still usable. They could be used on another project. A set of bigger papers that obviously can be used again on another project, and then some punch outs, hearts, stars, flowers, circles that I could also use again on another page. I got to 50 cards I got the 50 cards and I decided that was enough because I had worked long and hard on these cards and I was ready to see her cards because I couldn't wait to see what she created because we are both awesome creators and she creates differently than I do. And I was excited to see what my friend had created out of the same paper pack. Now, this was not my normal style of paper. It was not my normal way of doing cards. So it was a challenge for me, but it was a good challenge. So here are the cards that I made. I have 50 cards. These are first ones are thank you cards. card is made with the background, and I cut out the little flowers, and the one of the papers had the little jars on it, so I used that as a vase to make a flower. This one I used the circle punch just to cut out circles and stamped it. Thanks for everyone. Now we couldn't use any other embellishments other than stamps, cutouts, drawings. So this was a challenge for me, but I pulled out some of the craft items that I haven't pulled out in a long time in order to create these cards. Okay, the next set of cards that I have is birthday. And see, this was a strip of those cards, of the paper with the jars on it. This is a card that I would probably use for a man, for masculine card, because it has the more masculine paper. Last birthday one. This is what I call a patchwork quilt. This one was pieces were weaved through. Then I used the stencils to draw on the flower and added the little stamped saying. Here's a thinking of you card. Again, I'm using the pieces. Another thinking of you. These are some like heart and love ones. So this is You Make My Heart Sing. There's some musical paper behind there with the hearts. This one says love, and I used the hearts for the flowers. This one says love you to the stars and back. Love and special wishes. And another love and special wishes. Or if these are a little shaky, I'm better at the crafting than I am at the taping. Wishing you brighter days. This is kind of sort of a get well card. And they use the umbrellas as a rainy day. Might want a brighter day. And again, the wishing you brighter days. There's some generic cards you could use for whatever you want. Sending smiles across the miles. Happiness is a dream. Smiles, those days spent with you are good ones. And I cut out the flower and pasted it on there. We used a stencil. I love that stencil, so I guess I used it a few times. Here's some little note cards. Says just a little note. just a little note again with that musical card. Another just a little note. Get well cards. Well, get well. Get well. And hope you feel better soon. And then here's some that say, touch the hearts of angels as others do. Hello. So that one page with these little things on created a lot of cards. You're in my thoughts and prayers. Another patchwork one using small pieces. God bless. You're in my thoughts often and in my heart always. And may you find the strength to face tomorrow in the love that surrounds you today. Okay. This is just a few note cards that are blank, no saying, using the small pieces. Another patchwork quilt one. This is the pieces are woven through each other together. Another way to put the pieces. Reach for the moon and you'll land among the stars. Different ways to make that card. And a good friend is an umbrella for the heart. The last two cards. Whoops, got a piece of paper stuck on there. Another way to make that card. This was an awesome challenge. I learned a lot more about myself in creating these cards that usually I use embellishments of stickers, words that are, word stickers, um, different other embellishments that I have. I have like a lot of embellishments. So this brought me to take out some of the things that I used back when I started 12 years ago, and it was a good time for the challenge. Thank you, Tabitha, for challenging me, asking me to accept this challenge because it was a time of grief in my family, and it helped me to focus on something different, something positive. Wings of Hope's crafts cards. Portions of the proceeds that I make from my cards goes to charity. And on behalf of my father who passed away this last month, and my father-in-law, who both had kidney disease, these 50 cards, the proceeds from them will go towards the Kidney Foundation. Every month I have something depending on what's going on and how much I make, depending on how long I keep it. But I do donate to charity. I consider this a service project. I do it to send a little bit of love and sunshine to people through my cards. And I hope that the people who buy my cards feel that when they get them. Thank you for making this challenge, Tabitha. It's been fun. I can't wait to see your cards and see what you created with the same paper pack. Love you, friend. Until later. Oh, I encourage you to get together with your friends and see what you can do on a challenge like this. Thank you.